Scott,
Yeah.
you're full of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest. From time to time, we all lie. Maybe just a little. Your best friend asks you what you think of her new haircut. It's awful. But you tell her it looks nice. Your spouse wants to know if they look like they've put on 10 pounds. Of course, you say it doesn't. There is a library of research and information on the science behind lying. If you're new to this vlog, I invite you to subscribe. Put down in the comments section your experience dealing with people in your life who lie. In a sense, lies are kind of like the lubricant that moves social interaction forward. But when lying gets out of control, it can wreak havoc on your personal and professional life, potentially destroying relationships and careers.
But for you to tell me such a bald-faced lie and insult my intelligence, you dismiss, goodbye, judgment for the defendant, whatever you want.
And you know you lie. You are a snake, and you know you are. You know you are.
And you're a liar.
Out-of-control lying can be described in two distinct categories: compulsive lying and pathological lying. The definitions of each of these are a little bit fluid. Compulsive liars need to exaggerate and embellish. They tell the stories that they think people want to hear. When you ask a compulsive liar for an opinion on something, they're likely to say something like, "Oh, I know all about that. My brother, mother, father, sister, aunt, cousin, friend, classmate, roommate had the same thing." Often, they're pretty good liars. People tend to believe what they say, at least for a little while. Now, pathological liars may be quite a bit bolder, and in terms of their impact on others, probably a bit more dangerous. Pathological liars will continue to lie, even when they know that people know they're lying. They double down. They attempt to twist, to clarify, or even deny the original lie.
This Twitter picture in question, a picture of you.
Well, let's remember this Twitter picture in question is a hack or a prank that someone posted on my Twitter page.
Pathological lying is often diagnosed within people who fit the profile for sociopaths, narcissists, or personality disorders. It's almost as if the pathological liar believes that they're smarter than everyone else and that they'll never be caught. The very fact that their work life, home life, or reputation could be in jeopardy doesn't faze them. One example would be the story of Judge Patrick Cowan Burke. He was a Superior Court Justice in California, and he lied repeatedly during his time serving the public. The former judge maintained the lies that he had graduated from Caltech, that he was a wounded war veteran, and that he was a CIA operative in the 1960s. All of these statements were identified by his peers as unreliable and inconsistent, yet Cowan Burke continued to press them even upon questioning. He was eventually removed from the bench for willful and prejudicial misconduct, in that the claimed Caltech education was pretty critical to his position as a judge. The sad part is not so much that the judge lost his job, but that he lacked the ability to grasp that people would find him out. People would be able to verify that his stories were lies. So why then does the liar engage in such behavior? No one really knows. Scientists have been studying the phenomenon for years, and health professionals can only go so far as identifying these traits and attempting to treat them whenever possible. It's important to keep in mind that oftentimes the pathological liar, they just can't help themselves. In many instances, the lying becomes so second nature to them that they honestly begin to believe the lies that they're making up. It's like an automatic thing for them. Their world is much different than ours. At the end of the day, even when they're found out, they don't usually express any regret or remorse. As I said, they tend to double down, lash out, or accuse others of lying.
That, by the way, is a lie.
That isn't a lie, and we can prove it, and you are a hack.
Do so.
Whereas a normal person might tell a little white lie to get out of a social engagement, pathological liar will create entire histories around their one little lie just to maintain the illusion. They also tell the truth, but they will tell the truth in a misleading way to cause people to view things from their perspective and ultimately keep you believing their stories. So how do you deal with the compulsive or pathological liar? First, know and understand that the compulsive liar is going to study you. Like sociopaths, they're known to often study their potential victim to gauge whether or not their lie is going to stick. Second, and very importantly, remember that the liar lacks empathy. As hard as it is to believe, the liar often doesn't have a moral consciousness that you and I have. They're not aware or they don't care how the lying behavior might make you feel. They don't stop to think if their lie is going to cause you or anyone else any kind of harm. The liar doesn't care. Their focus is on them and what they get out of getting you to believe their lie. Remember this, normal people often feel guilty or relieved when you finally change the subject and stop pursuing them on their lie. You can see it on their face and in their body language.
You know, it's been a while since I've been across the pond.
Has it now?
Oh, Zach, you can stop it. I know you're not English.
Good heavens, do you mean?
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
The pathological liar, however, doesn't show any emotion on their face when they're spinning their story for you. It's true that an honest person who's telling a little lie is going to look kind of uncomfortable in their skin. They're going to seem nervous or hesitant. And oftentimes they show relief when the conversation's finally over. The pathological liar, they're unfazed. Speaking of which, not all liars do the common things that people think liars do. Not all liars will have little tells like touching their nose or twitching in their chair or darting their eyes around when they're telling you a lie. One way to tell that you may be dealing with a compulsive or pathological liar, they will maintain eye contact with you. They will lean in and seem very relaxed and sociable. Most people tend to avoid confrontation. We may stop and freeze. We may be fixated or fascinated with them. Listen to the individual closely. Stop them when they say something bizarre and ask them, how can that be true? You can often catch them in small contradictions that you can question them further on. Do not, however, try to confront them at this point.
You're a lying sack of dog mess.
If you throw the big stuff at them, they will pivot, they will misdirect, they will lash out at you, or they will simply disengage. If you're dealing with a friend or a loved one that has a problem with compulsive or pathological lying, do your best to reassure them that they don't have to be anything they're not just to impress you. Try to find ways to let them know that you value them just the way they are. Now, on that note, you've got to decide for yourself how important this relationship actually is to you. Trust your instincts. And if you recognize that a compulsive or pathological liar is becoming toxic to your life, be prepared to break away for your own health and safety. I'm not a psychologist or a doctor, but I've dealt with my fair share of liars, and I've kind of developed my own coping mechanisms. I grew up with 2 parents and a sibling that all matched the profile of compulsive and pathological liars. I can only hope that you and those close to you never have to deal with the effects of this type of destructive lying. And right now, in this world, we are all exposed to people in power who, if you look back at what I just laid out, clearly fit the profile of compulsive and pathological liars themselves.
I can be the most politically correct person in the world, and I can be the opposite.
I never said repeal and replace Obamacare. You've all heard my speeches. I never said repeal it and replace it.
Immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare.
I can only hope that the world will soon come to its senses and hold these people in power accountable when they are obviously and clearly lying to all of us about everything. If you or someone you know needs help, I encourage you to reach out. If I've done a good job, please consider sharing this video on your social media. As always, folks, I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the road.